Good afternoon and welcome to the latest episode of Print21, the weekly video news bulletin for the Australia and New Zealand print industries. This episode is sponsored by Spices, creating solutions together. Ongoing multi-million-dollar losses at one of the country's biggest commercial print businesses, Pegasus Media and Logistics, have seen majority owner Sir Michael Bromley show both his CEO and CFO the exit door. Pegasus has had a difficult last 2 financial years, being deeply in the red and, clearly, sacking the CEO and CFO just before the current financial year end shows this year will be little different. Pegasus lost a whopping $3.8 million in the 22-23 financial year and then lost even more last year, ending with the pre-tax losses of $6.3 million. The company had an equity deficiency of $9 million as at June last year. It was $6.33 million the previous year, $1.4 million the year before that. Revenue was static in both the last 2 financial years at $60 million, but that's a $20 million drop from the $80 million in 21-22. CEO Mark Atkinson and CFO Frank Shapter have just cleared their desks. They only joined 18 months ago, taking up their roles in January last year. Bromley has now installed his own finance man, Peter Wong, as CFO, with former construction industry boss Michael Sherlock installed as CEO. Print21 understands, though, both of these may be interim appointments. Atkinson took over as CEO from former boss Kevin Slavin. He joined after Ovato crumbled. Slavin stayed at Pegasus for 18 months. He took over as CEO on the retirement of longtime CEO Wayne Finkeldy. Excuse me. Under whose tenure, the company achieved an unbroken succession of profitable years. Print21 understands the last 2 financial years and this current year have seen overheads blow out at the company. Additional management layers have been added and a $2.8 million spend on a long-term lease on the old Masters building in St Mary's, Western Sydney, to house the SOS business that it bought and to consolidate some of the Pegasus operation into from Blacktown. They've both contributed to the outsized costs. Print21 also understands that both its main buildings, that's the one in Blacktown and the one in St Mary's, have a significant amount now of unused space. Meanwhile, controversial Melbourne print operation, MVP Print, has hit the skids again. The company closing down, and this time possibly for good, with its kit going for auction. The general commercial printer has gone down with debts of $1.36 million. It owes $81,000 to its 9 staff, $500,000 to the ATO, another $120,000 to unsecured creditors, and almost $600,000 to its funders. It has assets of just $18,000, plus whatever the auction brings in. One local printer told Print21, as he wasn't getting paid, he took a drive over to the MVP Print site in Seaforth, only to be met by an auctioneer marking up the equipment for sale, and no sign of any staff. MVP Print was the latest incarnation of what was originally Dark Horse Printing. That was established 20 years ago, and it went into liquidation in 2019 with debts of $2 million. Maverick Printing, owned by the fiancé of the owner of Dark Horse, came into being 5 weeks prior to that administration and began operating from the old Long Beach Press premises in Seaford. That went broke 2 years later and then became MVP Print, operating from those same premises. Rival print businesses in Melbourne, it'd be fair to say, were up in arms about the various reincarnations at the time, as of course they perceived the businesses to be shedding debt and carrying on. MVP Print's general manager, until its sudden closure just now, was Steve Roberts. He was the original owner of Dark Horse Printing. His fiancée at the time, Saoirse Hopkins, she was the sole shareholder of Maverick Print, and she is now the sole shareholder and director of MVP Print. The VMA says that while the inflation-busting Fair Work Commission mandated rise in minimum wages of 3.5% was marginally higher than expected and will put pressure on employers, it was a better outcome than the 4.5% that the ACTU was demanding. The 3.5% that the Fair Work Commission awarded is the biggest rise since before the pandemic, and it will impact 2.6 million Australian workers, including, of course, a number in the print industry. Business leaders warn that the large rise will be unsustainable for smaller businesses without economic reform. Business is also having to stump up, of course, an extra 0.5% in super payments from July the 1st to take them to 12%, meaning they are paying a 4% increase in wages overall from 1st of July. All 9 awards that the VMA oversees, from print and graphic design to signage, they will be affected by the new mandate. And of course, as I said, that comes into effect on 1st of July. The new adult minimum wage for full-time, that's 38-hour working week, employees will be $948 a week, or $24.95 an hour. That's up from the current $915.90 a week, or $24.10 an hour. Kelly Northwood, CEO of the VMA, said, "The VMA has provided members with a breakdown of the decision, and over the coming weeks, we will work with the Commission on further communication to the award summaries and notifications for our members." And that's to confirm the calculations for inclusion in the relevant industry awards. Before, of course, they become operational from 1st of July. Women in Print Australia is expanding its footprint in Tasmania. There are 2 casual Friday afternoon networking events set for winter. These informal gatherings, they're designed to provide a relaxed space for women in the print industry, or print and signage and related industries, to connect, to unwind and to share experiences, and of course to support each other, support their peers. The first event will be held in Hobart on Thursday 20th of June at the Deck, that's the Crown Plaza Hobart, and tickets are now available, and they are at womeninprint.com.au. A second event will follow in Launceston on Friday the 11th of July. A venue still to be confirmed. Both events are priced at $35 a person. As always, go to print21.com.au for these dates, for all these stories and more, the stories you won't find anywhere else. This is Wayne Robinson, editor of Print21, signing off for another week with thanks to our sponsor Spices, creating solutions together. We'll see you next time.